Today we are going to be reading about clouds, and I'm going to read it to you to kind of make it fast. Sound good? So, or at least most of it to you. We are going to learn about clouds because we know that different types of precipitation come from the clouds. Correcto? Now, fabulous, good, we love it. But different types of clouds are going to have different types of precipitation as well. They're going to look different. We call them different names. I don't expect you to know every single one of these, but I would like you to start to understand the facts and being able to look at the clouds and be like, oh, this is kind of the weather we would expect from this type of cloud. So being able to make that connection from what we learn in the classroom and take it out and be like, oh, yep, I see that kind of a cloud out there. That kind of a cloud just means like nothing really. Or wow, those are storm clouds. I know what that's going to be. Now that's storm cloud is not the name of a cloud. But we'll start out with clouds. So we have a heading. Our heading is
Clouds.
So we can predict that we are going to be reading about
Clouds.
A cloud is a collection of tiny water droplets or ice crystals in the air. Did we already know that?
Yeah.
Definitely. The color and shape of clouds can give you information about weather. Clouds can appear white or gray. Clouds are made of ice crystals and reflect light. When clouds get very thick with water droplets, they absorb sunlight and they appear dark gray. So when they're thick with a lot of those water crystals in there, they look what? They look darker, which makes sense because once a lot of those build up, what do we know happens?
It's gonna rain.
It rains. That falls as precipitation. That's when clouds appear gray. Gray clouds often bring rain. Clouds are moved through the atmosphere by winds. Now, what is our atmosphere? Grayson, what is our atmosphere?
A gas that surrounds the earth.
Yep, it's going to be that gas that, what's that word? We said it blankets the earth. Remember, it surrounds
Kind
the
of
earth.
like an air bubble.
It's like a blanket around the earth. And it's gas and what else? Dust. Gas and dust particles surrounding our earth like a blanket. It's just giving it a big hug. And that's where the clouds are going to move through the atmosphere. And they move because of wind. That makes it hard to tell where and when rain might fall. So you might see dark clouds, but they might not yet be heavy enough. And if they're moving really fast, you may never get the rain that's going to come from them. If they're moving really slow, you might get it for a long time, right? And all that depends on the wind. Cloud's shape gives weather watchers a lot of information. A cloud's shape cannot predict weather as well as data from other weather tools. However, each basic cloud type appears under certain conditions in the atmosphere. The three main types of clouds are stratus, what is it?
Stratus.
Cirrus,
Cirrus.
and cumulus.
Cumulus.
Stratus, cirrus, cumulus. Turn and tell your neighbor.
Stratus. Cirrus. And cumulus.
Stratus, cirrus, cumulus. What is it?
Stratus. Cirrus. And cumulus.
Cirrus.
Not
Cirrus. Stratus, cirrus, and cumulus. Cumulus nimbus. Cloud. Down below, we see that in there. So clouds filled with clouds filled with water droplets absorb the sunlight so that they look darker than other clouds. So if they have a lot of those water droplets, they're looking a lot darker. Those are very ominous clouds, right? They look very dark. They look really cool. They don't look like clouds. Yes, Kason.
We saw like those bumpy clouds, and my dad's like, "Oh, there's gonna be no tornado." And sure enough, we're driving towards the city, and sure enough, there's a big spiral.
Yep, it happens. Clouds, they do lots of crazy things and they help us predict, but not as good as other forms of what's to come. So these are the three types of clouds we just looked at, and they pop up in the order we talked about them. Stratus, cirrus, cumulus. So before we begin reading about them, I want you to take a moment and just observe the cloud. And what do you notice about the stratus, the cirrus, and the cumulus? Like, what are the difference? Where do you see them? Turn and kind of just discuss some differences with your neighbor about the clouds.
It's a little lower, all the clouds are like spread out, and like if you go up like a line ball and you like tap it down and slide it down like white, it kind of looks like it. And then the top one is really high, and the bottom is like kind of flat, but not like
3, 2, 1. We'll read a little bit about them. And as I go through, you're going to do a quick and summarize with your neighbor as we about them, okay? Stratus clouds form low. So where do they form? They form low, flat layers. So stratus are low and they are flat. They cover most of the sky, like a blanket covers a bed. Stratus clouds can be white or gray. They often bring rain or snow. So stratus clouds are low and flat. Stratus clouds are low and flat. And they can bring snow, or they could be white, or so that quick summary about them. Next up, we have cirrus clouds. Cirrus clouds form high above the ground. Where do cirrus clouds form?
high above the ground.
They are thin and wispy, and they mainly appear white. They show that the weather is fair, but precipitation may come in the next couple of days. So you're not going to get rain from these clouds by any means, but they're letting you know, hey, it could come in the next few days. They're kind of the preamble to what could come. So cirrus clouds form high, and they're wispy. Cirrus clouds are high and wispy. Stratus clouds are low and flat. Next up, we have the cumulus clouds. This is my favorite kind of cloud. I think they're the prettiest of the clouds. Cumulus clouds are puffy clouds with flat bottoms. So they're super puffy. They're like little cotton balls in the sky. They often appear white when the weather is fair, and sometimes they look like one big cloud. At other times, there are many small cumulus clouds across the sky. When cumulus clouds darken, they may signal that rain or thunderstorms are on their way. So definitely ones that could produce rain, they could produce thunderstorms, but they're going to be those big puffy clouds. I can't remember how I always remembered this one, but cumulus it was a funny word to me, cumulus. And so I always remembered it was like the big funny clown-like hair. So how I just remembered it. Turn and give your neighbor a quick description of all three of these together. The stratus cloud. 3, 2, 1. Third graders, we're going to take the next little bit to do a little bit of exploration, and I'll show you what we are going to do. Sound good? So we are going to stick on our topic of clouds. You guys will go to, you'll go to class link. And in your class link, we now all have access to that Pebble Go that I had been sending you the link to. It's just in that general 3 through 5. And we have class link. You're going to go to Pebble Go next, and it'll say WISP. Or If you're eagle, it's eagle, right?
Yeah,
Um,
not evil.
But I do have an eagle student, sweetie.
Yes.
So you'll click on it. It'll take you to our Pebble Go. And are we doing animals, science, biography, social studies, or health?
Science.
Science. It's going to fit in science. Biographies are studies of people, dear. And then it's going to be earth science. You can help remember that because it kind of looks like that's a cloud, even though that one's a volcano. But
Yeah.
once you get in it, is it going to be earth science, season, space science, or weather?
Weather.
Weather. Very good. And then what do you think I want you to explore?
Clouds.
Clouds. And you can explore types of clouds and what are clouds. If you finish that, you can just use these navigation things up top there, and you can click right back on the lightning bolts, and you can go all about weather and weather science. Those are your options afterwards. We're not going to spend a ton of time. This is just kind of a quick preview, a quick moment to get on our Chromebooks. We're not going to worry about cold weather or extreme weather or wet weather yet. We will be doing more with weather in the course of the next few weeks. So today our focus is clouds first. Then you can do about weather or weather science. Sound good? Fabulous. Thank you.